Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my first Q&A after seeing the finale for The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 16, Last Day on Earth. So I wanted to post this one. This is going to contain spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. Going to title it Brutal Ending, but really what we're talking about is the cliffhanger. I just don't want people to know, that there was a cliffhanger, even though it was kind of confirmed beforehand. I mean, we had done the video last week. It was like last Monday where Lauren Cohen had confirmed that this one has a huge cliffhanger. And like I said in the Q&A, I would be happy if they killed one character, then they had another one for the cliffhanger. Didn't happen. So they actually just left the main character death, which we've been waiting for since November, to season 7, which makes this is the biggest cliffhanger they've ever done. This is the biggest cliffhanger I've ever seen, because not only is it like with the end of season 4 where they go into the train car at Terminus, but in this one someone is actually killed with Lucille, but we don't know who it is, and that's really frustrating. I was looking at the AMC videos, and they have the one has 3,000 thumbs down already. It's like posted like a couple hours ago. The other one has 1,000 thumbs down, and they're like 70% thumb down, 70 to 80% thumbs down. So people are pissed for sure. And I even watched on Facebook, Chris Hardwick. He had like a live talk thing when people were bitching about it, and he got all up in arms about it and shit. He got mad. He started swearing and everything, which is funny because you're not used to seeing him. I'll put the link in the description for that, so you guys can check that out. Thank you guys for mentioning that, because I wouldn't have even known if you guys didn't send me that link. So I wanted to do a video just talking about the cliffhanger. Now that we know for sure, we've seen it now, that they're going to leave it to being the biggest cliffhanger ever. And man, in The Walking Dead, if you look at it season by season, their cliffhangers, they've had a lot of cliffhangers. Like a lot of them. One person said, this is from BattleSpec 16. He says AMC equals always more cliffhangers. I know, that was good. And because you think about it, start to finish, the mid-season finale was a huge cliffhanger, and people were pissed then too. And this is even worse than that. One thing about season 5 was it didn't really end in a cliffhanger, but I felt like with this episode, they probably could have shown us the character death in the finale episode, and it still would have felt like a cliffhanger, because it's like, oh, what's going to happen now? What's Rick's group going to do? And I think that would have made a lot of sense for them to do that. And I was really hoping they were going to do that, but they didn't. And the backlash has been quite extreme. But as Chris Hardwick had mentioned in his video, so here's kind of my thoughts on it, or basically this. Like I mentioned this quickly in the review, but I'll go in more depth into it here now. The thing is that it is a TV show, and they need to maintain a certain level of ratings. If they don't, the show could be in jeopardy of getting it canceled. So as a viewer, as a fan, it sucks, man. I'm pissed off that they didn't show it to us in the finale. But I totally understand why they did it, which is because they want to ensure people come back for season 7 in the premiere, and that people are, by the time the premiere comes up, everybody is just buzzing to see what happens. However, I don't think we're going to have to wait that long. I've been breaking it down. I've been looking at the angles. There's a tree in the background. There's a specific one that I've been looking at. So I'm going to get the footage, and this week I'm going to go over it with you guys, and I think we'll be able to say. However, that's a little bit tricky, because the way they filmed it may not have actually been from the angle at which the character who's getting killed at is from. But anyway, it makes for a lot of discussion for the next season, and it leaves us kind of at at like the most climactic point so far in the series, pretty much. So obviously people are pissed off because they wanted to see it. I don't think they needed to do it like that. I think they could have included the death, and it still would have been huge, and people still would have wanted to really come back and see season 7 at that point, having seen it. And it would have wrapped up season 6 as the best season ever for sure if they would have included the death. Since they didn't, in the second half, we had No Way Out with the huge character deaths in that. But then after that, we just had Denise, really, and that's basically it now. So the second half, season 6 itself, in terms of major character deaths, not that death heavy, because this one's going to be pushed into season 7. So I'm just like you guys. I'm disappointed as well too, but I understand why they do it, and I'm a little pissed off, to be honest. I don't really want to say in the review too much, because I like to do my reviews more unbiased, and kind of do them more as more professional, that kind of deal. But with regards to how I felt about it, like in the reaction video, I was like, "F you guys, man, that sucks, dude. That sucks." That said, it is a well done episode. I think the episode is super intense, and the ending of it is some of the most on the edge of your seat type of stuff you could ever see. I mean, some of the scariest stuff in all The Walking Dead for sure. So I think it was shot well, and everything was really good with the episode. But the main problem was that they decided to write it. So let me kick off my heater. They decided to write it so that it would be pushed into the next season, which it sucks, man. It sucks. So that said, season 7's premiere will probably have the most views they've ever got, probably, I would think, so far anyway, because the views have actually slipped a little bit. They're around 12 million an episode right now, and the wiki is listed, when they used to be in season 5 you get around like 15, 14 million. So they have slipped a bit. So hopefully this helps it come back. I don't want to see The Walking Dead get canceled or anything like that, and if this is what they have to do to keep the show going long term into 10 seasons or 15 seasons, okay, I guess we have to live with it. As long as the show continues, I'll be happy. It's not the end of the world, but I am a little disappointed, just like you guys. So Marco Acuña said, let's be honest, the fans were the ones that got bashed with Lucille. Yeah, why didn't they just show it to us, man? I mean, they really want to piss everybody off that bad, but it's not like people are going to quit watching the show, right? So that's there. And then we had Rick Grimes, and he says, I reckon they haven't decided to kill anyone yet. It's possible that they left it as a cliffhanger so that they can see people's reactions and then later on decide who they'll kill off, like they couldn't decide. I don't think that's the case, brother. I think that they've got it planned out so far in advance. I know Kirkman with the comic book series, he's got it planned out way in advance. I'm pretty sure Gimple with the TV series and the writing team with the TV series have it planned out pretty far down the line. AMC vice president once said they had it mapped out in terms of like up to season 14 or something like that. I remember an article like that, and him saying that he thinks it could go 20 seasons. So we'll see. He probably hopes it can. Then next one's from DragoonGalaxy. He says, imagine giving the episode 9.4. Come on, Trev. It's shit. Just admit it. So I wanted to include some of those type of comments in here too, kind of to defend my position, my review on it, and that kind of deal. You guys can watch my reaction if you want to hear my initial reaction. It's just the same as you guys, F them type deal, because they didn't show it to us, which sucked. Well, this one, and then you have BBNN who says, the best cliffhanger ever, 10 out of 10, one of the best episodes, can't wait for season 7. So you got people who are on, who view it very differently, right? I think my score stands for how I felt the episode was put together. It was a great episode. It was directed really well, and I felt like everything was super intense and really well done. I do wish they had included the death in the finale. That would have knocked this up to probably like a 10 out of 10 for me, or close to it, like 9.8, 9.9 or something. And you do have people who are kind of upset because they feel like it ruins that Walking Dead issue 100 moment. Because what it does is it cuts it in half, so that rather than you experiencing it at that time together, you watch this half, and then it gets cooked all the way till October for the next half. So it's a while to wait for that. I almost wish they would have ended the season with just showing us who it was who actually got killed. So darn it, man, it sucks. But I don't let that, it affects the score a bit, but I don't let that, I can't say it's a 2 out of 10 episode or a 4 out of 10 episode just because the writing decided to push that in. I also feel like they kind of pushed Negan in this season. I didn't think we were going to see Negan this season at all. I thought he was going to be pushed into season 7, at the least, but they picked up the pace, and it's like I almost think they kind of rushed to get him into this finale because, it seemed like he was probably, in terms of the filler amount they're putting in seasons 4 and 5, it seemed like to me his part should be pushed into the next season, into season 7, but they were able to bring him in. So I guess we should be happy we got to see Negan at all in the finale. But it does break up issue 100, which is it's a pain in the ass for sure. But I guess it's just what we have to deal with, that it's a TV series, and that's kind of something they have to do versus if it was a movie or the comic books, for example. Next one's from Kyle Earlywine. He says, "Yep, Trev eats it up and kisses AMC shoes." So he thinks I've sold out. So this is one thing. Like, I do my reviews honestly, and I'll tell you guys what I think. If there's a really bad episode, I'll tell you it's a bad episode. Like I said, still is a horrible episode of a TV show. It really is. But like I say, you guys saw my reaction. You saw my review. What I'm telling you is I'm telling you my my honest opinion of it, my honest review. If I felt like the whole episode was garbage, then I would give it a bad score. But it wasn't. I mean, it was really exciting. It was really intense, and I did enjoy the crap out of it. But yes, I'm disappointed, just like you guys are, that they didn't include the last part. I would have, it probably would have been my favorite episode ever if they had done that. Because they didn't, it's not the best episode of The Walking Dead ever. It's not as good as No Way Out. It's not as good as Too Far Gone. It's not as good as No Sanctuary. It may not even be a top 10 for me, really, because it cuts it in and then it pushes it into the next part, which is, it's a little painful for sure, yeah. Next one's from Paul Germanos, and he says, "So lame, Jeffrey D. Morgan is a weak Negan, seriously. Hit the weights and eat some protein powder." So it wasn't just me, because that's kind of what I thought. I don't want to say it, too much, because he's pretty big as comedian, right? You remember him as comedian. He's a pretty big guy. So, and then he says, "Seriously, hit the weights and eat some protein powder, JDM. Why not Henry Rollins? And keep the gimp away from Kirkman's comic writing, please." Cliffhanger. Question mark, my ass. Andrew Lincoln. The lesbian chops were wasted. And, Merle Dixon's death was much more memorable. Ta-ta, AMC lamers. So there are a lot of people pissed, man. The Walking Dead community is pissed, for sure. So I wanted to include his first part here because I think that it does. I did notice the same thing, but here's what I think. I think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he was clearly bigger, in my opinion, as a comedian. He was clearly more muscular in that role, and was he probably looked more the part as Negan in that state. But I think for The Good Wife and also for other shows like that on TV, they don't necessarily try to be buff, because that doesn't look that good on camera a lot of times. What they try to be is they try to be as skinny as possible, and he's pretty skinny now compared to how he used to be, right? Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So it's probably because he didn't have that much time. He got the call, and then he had to go pretty quickly. So he probably didn't have much time to bulk up too much. Now that he knows he's in the role and he's going to be in the role going forward, I could see him hitting the weights and bulk up a bit for sure. But Henry Rollins would have been a great choice for sure, man. I mean, it's hard to say. One thing about the Negan, the TV series, in the finale anyway, he doesn't seem as what's the word? Enthusiastic, or as it's kind of like he's breaking the bad news to them and it's something to fear type of deal. But he doesn't seem as kind of crazy and as kind of as I picture him to be. Like when he first comes in, he's like pretty serious the way he delivers the lines and everything, and he doesn't get into it that much. So I have a hard time seeing Henry Rollins not doing a better, maybe even a better job, to be honest, because Henry Rollins, all he has to do is be himself, and it would come off pretty awesome. And he's intense, dude. So Jeffrey D. Morgan did a great job, I think, but you might be right here. But you can't be a perfectionist. It's the way these things, it's the way they turn out. They're doing 16 episodes a season. With this season had 3 extended, or was it 4 extended? Jeez, man. I think 3, right? So they really brought it this season. They did a great job, because that's almost like 18 episodes if you think about it. So we can't be too picky. Season 6 was incredible. So and the fact that they even included Negan this season is really something that season 4, season 5, it probably at that pacing would have gotten pushed out into the next season for sure. So I'm glad at least we got to see him. But yeah, it does suck that it's cliffhanger. Next one's from Trev's Cocker Spaniel, and he says, "No matter how you feel about the finale ending, you can't deny that this was an absolutely fantastic season." And I wanted to include that as well too, because Exactly. You can't deny that it was a great season. I wish they would have included it to just cap it off as the best season of a TV series ever. I can see some people saying they like season 5 better as a season because, it doesn't leave, that kind of piece for the next part, the next season. But if you look at it, the story doesn't work out that way to one season, has one story arc or anything like that. The Alexandria beginning story arc ended with No Way Out, which was in the premiere of this half, right? So then, it doesn't exactly work out to be like one half, one arc, or one season, one arc. Sometimes they're overlapping and they go like a season and a half or something, or, just one half, or, it doesn't exactly work out perfectly to all fit in, exactly how you'd want it to. Because again, they got to keep you coming back, and if they don't, the show will get canceled. Even though Walking Dead gets so many ratings, it would be like impossible. It would be, they'd have to screw up majorly, I think, to get it canceled at this point, or just end it because they've just had enough of doing it. Cody Horton says, Trev, if you look closely, you can see Nicholas's body fall on top of the camera right before Negan hits it. I had to include at least one Nicholas's body comment. I know how ridiculous they are. It's getting a little bit played now, but I had to. This will be the last one. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Everyone forgot about the other cliffhanger. Will Enid ever get out of the closet? Find out next season on The Walking Dead. I like that one. That was from Longson, LKL090LO. So I wanted to include that because I thought that was really funny. And that's true. Carl totally locks her in there. So how is she going to get out? She's going to have to break the door down. Otherwise, people may not know she's in there. However, without any, air circulating in the houses or anything, if she just bangs away long enough, I'm sure somebody will hear her. But that's pretty funny. Imagine if she just like starves in season 7. They get back and she's like dead in the closet. Carl locked her in and she had no food. And they went to the hilltop. Then they finally got back and she's like, it's still in the closet or something. Funny. Next one's from Lionel Watson. We'll do like a couple more. He says, would have been the best episode by far if they gave Negan a shave and clothes that didn't come from the women's section of Macy's. And that's true. They should have shaved. Why didn't he do that? It doesn't make any sense unless it has something to do with his other role that he was doing in The Good Wife or something. I'm not sure. And then next one's from Taylor Lehman, and she says, I think Glenn got Lucille. Who else agrees? And it's got the most thumbs up. And I think Hardwick also said in his thing that he thinks it was Glenn too. So I'm glad I'm not alone, but there's a lot of people who think Eugene, maybe Abraham, so it's hard to tell, but I think Glenn's the most likely. Also, too, that kind of takes away from it a little bit, too, because because it's the same characters in the comic books, not only is it a cliffhanger, but it's exactly the same thing. So it's like they didn't change it enough to make it that interesting. As much as I love to see Norman Reedus on the show and I want Daryl to survive, and I'm happy because it seems like he's good, I kind of wanted them to do something a little different than what they did in the comics and have it be exactly the same and take away that kind of suspense to it, sort of. So I don't know, man. I guess I am a little disappointed with the whole issue 100 adaptation to the TV series, which I'm sure many of you guys are as well. And the last one is from Jonelle Cullen, and he says, hey, Trev, I was wondering how they would make the trailer. Wouldn't that be a spoiler? And I'll make this last one for this Q&A, and we'll do another one tomorrow. Keep sending me your guys' questions so we can do another one tomorrow. Because I can't get enough talking about it with you guys. So much fun to talk about this stuff with you guys, especially the discussion after such a controversial ending. Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to do the trailer. I think what they should do is, I've heard people say with Lost, they filmed the ending a few different times or something because they didn't want anyone to spoil it so that they were able to keep it under wraps. I think with this one, what they should do is they should keep everybody, all the cast back. Everybody should be back, including whoever's killed off. And they should film the scenes twice. They should film them once in the version that's going to be shown and another one with the dead character so we can't tell who it's going to be. I think that's what they should do. If I was doing it, that's what I would do. I know it might be a little bit more costly, it might be a pain, but that'd be cool if they did that because then from the trailer, we would see the trailer with a certain character there that's dead already. pretty much dead already. So yeah, I think that's how they should do it, and that's what they should do. Will they do that? Probably not. No, probably not. We'll probably be able to figure it out. I'm gonna try to figure it out tonight anyway. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know if I can crack the puzzle. It's gonna be tough though because we don't know the first person. It's possible the first person kill could have taken place in a different spot than the character that was killed. Right? Nicotero could have moved it to mess with us on. So sometimes they just mess with you. You can't say for sure, but we'll see who it makes most sense to be, and the angles and the tree and that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about it. Anyway, that's it for this Q&A, guys. I think that's good for tonight. That's 4 videos for tonight for you. If you missed any of them, we did the reaction for the finale, did the review, did the predictions for season 7, and now finally we're doing a video, just getting our feeling out there, talking about how the cliffhanger was, and how we're feeling about the cliffhanger that we kind of knew. We knew there'd be some kind of cliffhanger, but we didn't know it was necessarily going to be this big. And everybody's pissed. So I'm a little pissed too. I'm not, I'm not impartial here. I'm a little pissed too, but I don't want to be too whiny because, they do such a great job with the show and they work so hard on it all year. And I know what it's like to work hard on something and have everybody just bash the hell out of it. And, they do, I'm sure they do see, reviews and things like that sometimes, at least some of the people involved. So I don't want to, you got to be careful. You don't know who's going to listen or who's going to hear. You don't want to hurt people because they pour their heart and soul into their work, right? And we can tell with The Walking Dead they do. So, yeah, anyway, that's it for this one. If you guys liked this video, you can thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, you can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. Heads up, a couple days, I'll analyze the footage, and we'll do a breakdown of who we think it is, who was killed off in the finale. That's it for this video, guys. We'll see you again real soon tomorrow or the next day for another one. It's Trev, saying peace. See you guys.